C. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text PREP to 42424. That's PREP to 42424.
This is Paul Feinbaum. That'll do it for me today. Coming up next, The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. It's a daily update on Bama sports and is brought to you by Vector Security Champions Lane, the best pregame fan fest in college football. Visit championslane.com for updates throughout the season. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. On today's edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, we'll be joined by Alabama wide receiver Jeremy Bernard.
That's my guy, man. I love Grub. He's always intense. He's a very diligent guy. You know, he hones in on the details. And so, I mean, I answer this question a lot. Like, the system isn't really changing a whole lot, but like since he went to the NFL and came here, he's brought an offensive system here. So, you know, it's not so like it's not really like a college playbook to like the full extent. It's more it's all combined together. You know what I'm saying? So it gives us as an offense an opportunity to see how we're gonna conduct things on the next level and how things are ran. And then just, I mean, he's an aggressive OC, and you know he makes opportunity for the guys, you know, to make plays, and we have a lot of them. So
I'll have more in a moment. Tide fans, are you ready for game day in Tuscaloosa? Don't miss the ultimate pregame experience this season at Vector Security Champions Lane, opening 4 hours before each home game. This fan fest has everything you need to get pumped for kickoff. Located next to the Walk of Champions, you'll enjoy live music, player autographs, the best food trucks from all over Alabama, and ice-cold beer in our Legends Lounge beer garden, where there's never a cover charge. Check out ChampionsLane.com each week for the latest updates. Roll Tide! Join us this afternoon for Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, streaming live at 2 p.m. Central on all CTSN social media platforms at UA_CTSN. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by Vector Security Champions Lane. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
John Abraham here with Bobcat of Huntsville. Men, the season is upon us. This is what all the playbooks have prepared us for. But here, there's no need for a 3-4 defense because we're not talking about the football season. We're talking about the get-done season. Starting August 13th, Bobcat of Huntsville will have a full line of steel products for you to throw at those jobs you've been putting off until now. So put away those fantasy draft notes and pick up the tool you've been waiting for because it's time to get it done. Bobcat of Huntsville, right off of Highway 20 in Madison.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
Listen to the Alabama Football Recap Show every Sunday at 11. Smoked by Dreamland Barbecue. Ain't nothing like 'em nowhere. On 97.7 ESPN The Zone. WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. This hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
And a very pleasant good evening to you. Welcome in to the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. It's always good to be back here on campus here. How are you, Wes?
Doing great. Good to be back, that's for sure.
There is plenty to jump into, but it is, of course, a big week in the Southeastern Conference with a total of 5 conference games. And by the way, you can legitimately, I know I touched on this yesterday, we'll hear from Kirby Smart as well as Kalen DeBoer, who spoke yesterday. But the Alabama-Georgia game is front and center, and the host of Game Day, Reese Davis, is kind enough to start things out with us here on this Tuesday. How are you, Reese?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
We are doing quite well here at the Furniture Factory. I know we'd love for you to be here, but it's I know you're a tad busy this time of year, and it's the news just never stops with now Mateer and Gundy, and it's this is a whirlwind to say the least, Reese.
It is an unfortunate thing for Mateer because he's played great football and received the accolades that he's earned for it up to this point. The thing with Gundy was unfortunate, but expected. Unfortunate because he really defines Oklahoma State football. Now, he was a great player. Certainly they've had better players because, I mean, they have Barry Sanders and Terry Miller and Hartley Dykes and, any number of other great players. But the combination of being a great player and then really being the best coach in Oklahoma State history, and it's not really that close, it made it really unfortunate the way it became unraveled at the end.
Yes. Yeah. You were front and center down in Miami, and I really thought that they made Miami has looked really impressive to me, but another big statement against Florida this past weekend.
It's an excellent team. They've got everything you want. They've got a nasty offensive line, which I know that Wes loves. I think they've got tremendous pass rushers, and they've got every ingredient you could want. And Carson Beck has played very well, and he's fit in very well. And, I wondered about him coming off the injury, wondered about the demeanor with all of the, Lamborghini stuff and everything that was going on. Not that if guys want to drive Lambos, go ahead. I don't care, but, Biff Poggi's driving a Rolls Royce because Nick wouldn't sell him a Ferrari, according to him. So, drive what you want. I don't care. But, I think there was something off with that Georgia team last year. It was like it just didn't fit. It was time to move on. And boy, Carson's made a great move. He's fit in great at Miami, and I think they're as good as anybody in the country.
Well, it's tough life, right? All these hard choices you have to make in your life.
Yeah, I know it. That's a rough one. I didn't know. I wasn't sure. Biff's wanting that Ferrari. I don't know that would be the most comfortable ride for a man of Biff's proportions, but we'll see.
It'd be like a 10-pound ham and a 5-pound sack.
Well, that leads right into the current Georgia quarterback there, and just what have you seen out of life with Gunnar Stockton as the true number one guy since taking over?
Thought he was playing very conservatively, and he was hardly pushing the ball down the field at all prior to the Tennessee game. And, man, did he make some great throws, some clutch throws, and the team rallied around him. That fourth down touchdown pass to London Humphreys that basically saved the game for them and ended up giving them a chance to tie it and ultimately win it in overtime. I thought he grew up a lot. And, we've seen one of the themes of the year has been how have new quarterbacks, whether freshmen or guys just, really becoming the guy for the first time, how have they fared in front of hostile environments, really difficult road environments? And Gunnar passed that with flying colors. They got off to a little bit of a slow start, or a lot of bit of a slow start defensively. But, I thought he played extremely well, and I'm sure he gained a lot of confidence from that.
Well, you look at Georgia, their offensive line's young. They're huge, maybe the biggest offensive line ever in captivity. But they're huge, and they'll get better as the year goes wrong. But also the secondary is very inexperienced. And I think it just all that kind of showed up against Tennessee. What's amazing to me, though, is that they were able to win that game.
Yeah.
They did it because there's a lot of fight in those dogs. There's a lot of fight in them. And you're going to have to beat them for 4 quarters. And you can't as soon as you make a mistake, they take advantage of it.
Well, look at the game against Alabama last year in Tuscaloosa. I mean, anyone without that type of fight that you describe, and then they sort of pack it in and say it's not our day, down 30-7 and raucous atmosphere against a really talented team, and they didn't, and they took the lead. You'd say they have a chance to win the game. They went ahead, in the fourth quarter until the great play with Jalen Milroe and Ryan Williams. But I think that's a hallmark of their program, Wes. You're going to have to finish them off. They're not going to back down from the fight. And I think that's one of the things that you're going to find out about Alabama. What we found out about Alabama the last 2 weeks is that when they are the bully, they will pummel you. What we don't know yet is when they face someone who will punch them in the face, are they going to punch back? They didn't in Tallahassee. And, I think it's a really, really big deal for Alabama to play with a little more fire than it did. And, it was almost like they were surprised that the game was going that way. And they really didn't increase their level of concentration and resolve to continue to fight in the way that Georgia did when things were going against them at Tennessee.
Coach Saban put it the best and basically said, we rode down there and scored and everything looked good. And then they scored and we didn't know what to do. It was like shock. What do we do now? And they took the fight to them. Last year, Reese, we looked like the best team in the country against Georgia and against LSU. Against LSU's the only game that we have won away since Coach DeBoer has been there. And and after those two games, the next week we traveled to Vandy and Oklahoma respectively. Those were the two worst games we looked all year.
Mm-hmm.
So now we look, I think Alabama has more talent than Georgia overall. Do they have the best team? I'm not so sure they have the best team. But I think young-wise, the talent that on this team is starting to show out. Can they travel and do it now? With Coach Saban, they could. With Coach DeBoer, so far they haven't, but one time. And we'll see. And like you said, what are they going to do when they get hit in the mouth? Because that's coming. You know that.
Yeah, there's no doubt it's coming. And I don't put this – ultimately it's Kalen's responsibility. It may or may not be his fault. Probably not. There's a difference. When you're the head coach, you're responsible for it no matter what happens. But he has a really long history of winning difficult things. And I know it's not the SEC. I get it. But, he took a Washington team in and won at Oregon his first year. The next time they played was in Seattle and then in the conference championship game. But, he's won at Oregon. He's won a Sugar Bowl against Texas. It might not have been Austin, but certainly I would say that would have been a pro other team crowd by a long shot. So it's not as if this is foreign territory to him. But for this particular team, which is all that matters at the moment, they've got to prove it. I'm not buying into this thing that, Caleb DeBoer doesn't know how to win on the road. They have not played well on the road. That's fair criticism, and it's accurate criticism. They have not played well in their road games since he's arrived at Alabama, with the exceptions that you noticed that. And Wisconsin was a road game last year, but they weren't very good, and they're not again this year. But no, they haven't done it. But here's the opportunity to, people talk about narratives. It's just a chance for them to prove that they are what they say they are and what many people, including me, believe that they can be based on their talent level.
And I want to go on record now, and I've said it on the air. I think Alabama's hired the right guy. You got to get
me too.
You got to get him, and that's two graduates of the University of Alabama. I think a lot of people making all the noise aren't graduates of the University of Alabama, whether they're fans or not fans. I'm just saying. I think a lot has been made. If you saw the support he had at these last two home games, it was pretty special and pretty incredible. When you watch these freshmen play, and they're all over the field, the tight end, the right tackle they have. This is a special class that they have, and
yes.
And I think that he's on his way to having the next special class, but somehow they got to get the dog out of him on the road, where when you get punched in the mouth, you can respond. And that's what I'm looking for, because it's going to happen. They're going to get punched in the mouth. In Georgia, it's going to be a battle.
Yeah, there are no such things as moral victories at Alabama. But people will say that this is a must win. I'm going to phrase it differently and say it's must compete and have a chance to win. Yeah. Because when you're playing over there, they haven't won. I think, you know what? I think they haven't lost a night game at home since 2009. They have the long overall home winning streak. They haven't lost any game there since 2019. So, and by the way, it's not just the environment. They're good. They're coached by Kirby Smart, a guy who can stake claim to being the best coach in the game. And, so I'm going to say it's certainly not a must win. They're not going to disband the program. They're not out of the fight for the SEC if they lose. But I think just for the mental well-being of the team and, belief of the supporters that you're talking about, it's must compete their tails off and have a chance to win. And if it goes their way, it goes their way. And if it doesn't, it doesn't, because that's the way it goes sometimes when you play great teams, particularly when you play them in their house.
So, and I think there's a 15% chance of any team, no matter what the line is, in the Southeastern Conference when you play at night on the road and winning. You said a lot of statistics. When's the last time Georgia beat Alabama at Georgia? I think you got to go back further in all those statistics.
It's been a minute.
I remember when there might have been maybe there was another game in between that I'm not thinking of. But when Coach Stallings was there, I was working in Columbus, Georgia, and covered a game where Georgia, I think, beat them on a late field goal. It was like one of those vintage Stallings games, 17-16, 15-13 or something like that. And Georgia got them then. That was in sometime in the early 90s. I don't know if there was another one in between. I don't recall off the top of my head if there's been another one since then.
Steve?
I'm looking right now. 2003, Georgia won 37-23. That was in Athens. But previous to that, 90.
Oh, that's right.
90 is the game that you're referencing there, Reese. September 22nd, 1990. It was a 17-16 win for Georgia that day. But few and far between.
2003, those are the forgotten years, aren't they? There are a couple of eras of Crimson Tide football that people just sort of assign to the trash folder.
Yeah, I was asleep that year.
Well, one person that is new to this is Ryan Grubb. How big of a factor do you think he might be come Saturday night in this matchup, Reese?
Be a great matchup with because he's a terrific offensive coach and Glenn Schumann's a great defensive coach. So, I mean, that's one of the premier coordinator matchups I think you'll find. A little bit under the radar. Neither guy is necessarily, viewed on the outside as the hot young coordinator, though both could certainly be viewed as that because they're both really good. So, I think he's a terrific coach. Obviously, got the resume on Kalen's staff and working alongside Kalen. They've had a lot of success together. So, I think he'll certainly call a good game. Put Ty Simpson in position so that to succeed. I mean, he's played. The competition level is about to ratchet up significantly again. And he was, to me, I don't know how you guys feel. I mean, not that he played his best game at Florida State, but he was the least of their problems at Florida State. He was, he was not the problem or not the primary one. But now we'll find out if he can do it because you have to have your quarterback make plays in a game like this if you're going to, try to find a way to win against a team like Georgia.
He's throwing the ball better than when I watched Tua, I used to have my mouth wide open, and some of the throws he make are Tua-esque. I mean, he's playing with a lot more confidence, and he's doing, he's surprised me. And it was like on a throw in the second game when he threw it out. The first time I thought he looked like an NFL talent arm, and and since then he's just playing with a lot of confidence. He's had 6 drops, and I'm not talking about the drops hit him right in the hands. And I think with those, if those were caught, he'd have 2 more touchdowns at least. And even a higher completion percentage. He's just played unbelievable.
Reese, yeah, go ahead, sir.
I was going to say that's the thing. You want, and I probably did a little bit inadvertently. Dismiss the two games because of the level of competition. But when you're in a situation like Ty is, even though son of a coach and he's been in the program for a long time, he needs some reps. And he's had some successful reps now. And I would think that, he goes in with a great deal of confidence for the game Saturday night.
Finally, Reese, at least for me, how is Game Day going to cover the Wilt Weeks, Landry, Kiffin story, and especially with Elaine saying take the over? I mean, come on. That just feels like it's set for a Game Day special on Saturday morning there in Athens, Georgia.
I have a sneaking suspicion that it will find a way, but I don't know. Maybe I misunderstood you. We're at Penn State this week. We're at Oregon, Penn State. So yeah, we'll be there. There will be plenty of LSU, Ole Miss, and Alabama, Georgia talk, along with several other terrific games. I mean, Auburn and Texas A&M is a great game. I thought Auburn really got the short end of the stick on Saturday in Norman, but that this will be a big game for them as well, going down against a Texas A&M team that really, really looks good.
And some people say they got the whole stick, but I'm just saying.
It was some of them were baffling. I mean, the hideout one was obvious. My thing on the scoop and score fumble is when I saw it, I said, first of all, I thought they went off the board calling it incomplete because I thought he had it, thought he was putting it away, made the proverbial football move. I said, if they had said that his shin grazed the ground or his hip grazed the ground while he still had control and they called him down, I would not have agreed with that, but I could have seen it.
Hold on, Reese. Go back and look at the tape.
I didn't get.
Yeah, go back look at the tape. It wasn't his hand that had the ball. It was the defensive backs.
Is that right?
Yes.
I've watched it several times.
Go back and look at
the hand. You think it was okay, well, I'll stand corrected if that's the case, but I thought he had control of it.
It was the defensive back's hand that had control of it. He never had the ball.
Okay, well, then I'll stand corrected.
That's the only one I agree with, though.
All right, well, I tell you what, man, I watched that several times. I'll go back and look at it again, and maybe my old eyes aren't working right.
Well,
but at any rate, at any rate, I'll say they did get some tough calls go against them. But I mean, first of all, Oklahoma's really good, and if you're going to get your quarterback hit, and your quarterback's going to contribute to it by holding it a little too long, and the false starts and the untimely penalties, that wasn't the only reason they lost the game. But I did come out of there thinking two things. Oklahoma's really good, and so is Auburn. I think Auburn's pretty good. I think Auburn's
defense good. has grown tremendously. The way they kept them in that game. I mean, really, Auburn had one drive. Any consequence. The rest were two passes. And listen, if they don't hold Cam Coleman, I think Auburn wins the game. They held him every play. You can see it every play.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'd try it too. That guy's as good as any receiver in the country not named Jeremiah Smith. I mean, that dude's legit, man. He's very talented.
100%.
My apologies for messing up where game day is, but we always appreciate you finding this spot right here. And by the way, just for a sidebar, what an outstanding way to close out Coach Corso, and then goes all the places that he was a part of, ends up winning that weekend. I mean, you guys couldn't have scripted that any better.
And he got all of his picks right.
Yeah,
every single one of them, and every place like you mentioned, every place he coached, they won.
Crazy. That was just crazy.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Safe travels to you, sir.
All right, see you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. That's Reese Davis. Silly me. I thought they were heading to Athens, Georgia. So, going to a Big Ten matchup this weekend. It just means fewer people will be in Athens, Georgia coming up. on Saturday. It is, by the way, year 2, and you heard Reese kind of speak of it a little bit. Well, year 2 for Kalen DeBoer has gone pretty well no matter where he's been. At Sioux Falls, he won an NAIA national championship. At Fresno State, they won the New Mexico Bowl. He was not there because he had already gone to Washington. And in his second year at Washington, he went all the way to the national championship game at Washington, losing to the eventual national champs in Michigan. So we'll see what happens here at Alabama in year 2 for head coach Kalen DeBoer.
Well, this isn't Sioux Falls he's going to, just FYI.
No, it is not. Kirby Smart did have this to say yesterday on the Alabama offense. I promise. He did.
Well, I mean, Ty's different than Milroe. You said it. So there's a difference in that. But he's a really good athlete. Like, he's a tremendous athlete. He played in games last year, and you watch all the snaps he took, and he has 60, 70, 80-yard runs that are, running down the field, outrunning good defenses. So he's a talented player. I would say he's probably the hottest quarterback right now in all of college football. His 2 last outings, I don't know that I've seen an incompletion. Like, the ball does not hit the ground. He's been accurate. He's been quick with the ball. They're really hard to defend because of their skill. They got tremendous skilled receivers, backs, tight ends, but you got to have a trigger guy that can get those guys the ball, and they do. And he's seeing the field. I didn't realize, in the Florida State game, it was as messy and sloppy as the weather was at times. Like we were playing a game during that time, so I had no idea until last week. You go watch, and you're like, oh, okay, it was a rainy, sloppy game. In the other games he's played, there's been no sloppiness. I mean, he's accurate, he's quick with the ball, he's a good decision maker, and has made some elite throws. So they're clicking right now offensively for sure.
That is a little bit of Kirby Smart. And of what I heard yesterday, from the Alabama perspective, I honestly heard more substance out of Ryan Grubb than I did Kalen DeBoer. That's why I played a little bit yesterday from Ryan Grubb. But here's a little bit more from Ryan Grubb, wanting his offense to execute early.
I think early execution is always a key. When Ty starts fast and the guys can feel that he's making great decisions, and we got command in the huddle and at the line of scrimmage, I think that they all feed off of each other. And when they feel that sense of control early in the football game, I think everybody is feeling a lot more confident.
That goes, yeah, absolutely. Here's the thing. This game is not a one-possession game, not maybe to the end. What I'm saying is Alabama has to bring it every possession. They do, they're going to be some bad plays. Georgia has some really good players, and hopefully, I think Alabama's better if they can play with the lead. But sometimes, somewhere, you got to believe in yourself when you get behind and come back like Georgia did. That's a belief that you have, inner belief.
Yeah.
We did it a lot when I was at Alabama, and it was just – but once you do it once, it's easier to do the second time. Alabama has to do it once where they can come back and win a game. And, this is two good teams. I don't think this is the best Georgia team by far.
No, it is not.
But I do think they could be a top 4 school or top 6 school by the end of the year. They have a lot of talent. It's just a matter of time to get it.
Coming up next hour on this very matchup between Georgia and Alabama, Wes's favorite, Mike Griffith, is going to join us coming up in hour number 2, right after we talk to Jen at the top of the hour. Sam is here with us from Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We'll talk to him. But I tell you what, AC, if you can condense your phone call a little bit here for me, I can squeeze you in right here, Mr. Big Ten. How are you, AC?
Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you so much for taking my call. How you feeling, sir?
Doing well. How are you?
Appreciate. I'm blessed to be alive. If God wakes me up every day, if I get to serve my Lord every day, trust me, sir, I can handle anything. I have to. I appreciate you for taking my call. And thank you, Mr. Reese Davis, for coming on my station. The family's running the station. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to Mr. Mike Griffith. I love me some Mike Griffith. I'm going to send him an email to thank him for coming on the show, the family show, of course. Now,
he's just trying to get my notes before the teleconference tomorrow more than anything.
He's a great guy. I love me some Mike Griffith. He has good sense of humor. He has better understanding.
He does.
Of course he does. Of course. Mike is a great guy. Cannot wait to hear his take on what's going to happen to Georgia and Alabama. I mean, they're two marquee matchups. We got Oregon and Penn State. And, of course, Big Ten, they love me at this point. And whatever happens, everybody's going to flip to, I believe, ABC/ESPN. They want to watch Crimson Crybabies and Georgia Bulldogs. Let me ask you a question. Before you ask Mike Griffith, do you think Kirby Smart forgot what happened last season? I don't think so. He's going to get his team ready for a 60-minute battle and then get those tissues ready because Crimson Crybabies there for Christ's Sunday.
So do you think
he remembers the year before or the year before?
Do you honestly think
the year before?
Do you honestly think that Georgia has the better top to bottom roster than Alabama? AC.
Well, if I look at Bama and Georgia, I mean, come on, seriously, you think that kind of performance would get them to win a playoff game? I mean, they're shaky right now.
No. The question I asked is, do you think Georgia has a better roster top to bottom than Alabama?
We're going to find out this coming Saturday.
AC, I will tell you this. This is one of the things I do love about sports. Just because you have more talent does not equal victories.
You're absolutely correct. See, I gave you an answer like a lawyer would give.
You didn't answer. Yeah.
And that's what Mike Griffith is going to tell you because I learned a lot of things from Mike Griffith. And, of course, I have my wise man. The family needs wise men. So I have my wise man. The wise man told me what to say, and I just did it. We're going to see this Saturday. So the thing is, what's your level of patience, Bama Nation, when you lose to Georgia? And then they're going to play Diego, boy, who's going to light you up. If you lose 2 consecutive games, are you going to cry?
This is a tough stretch here for Alabama of what AC is referencing with the fact that Vanderbilt is.
If we want to move, we just go to the. We want to win, we can go to the
Vanderbilt
Big Ten.
is taking on Utah State this week, and then after that, it's Missouri. And Missouri, it's a cupcake game for them. Then it's a bye week. Then it's Bama. So this is a tough 3-week stretch to AC's point. AC, I appreciate the phone call, sir.
I appreciate
Good to hear from you.
Thank you, sir. God bless you, and everybody acknowledge the tribal truth.
Let's go ahead and take our first time out. We're live here from the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Just in time for early fall adventures, what could be better than 0 down on a new Ford? That sounds good to me. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. It's football and camping season, and we've got a brand new Ford to take you there. Right now, Woody Anderson Ford has some strong $399 and $499 leases that come with 0 down and 2 years of premium complimentary maintenance too. Choose a 2025 STX Crew Cab with a 2.7-liter EcoBoost for just $499 a month. Or choose its electric brother, the F-150 Lightning, just $399 a month. Woody Anderson Ford also has 25 Broncos, Explorers for $499 a month, and Bronco Sport and Escape for only $399 a month. And remember, these leases are 0 down, and they come with 2 years of complimentary maintenance. 36-month leases with 0 down, first payment due at signing, 0 security deposit, just tax, tag, and title fees, and your good credit. These offers end 9/30/25. Now's the time for a Woody Anderson Ford. I'm Bobby White, and we hope to see you soon.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement, it's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
You'll love the expanded wine selection at Liquor Express. From special occasion to everyday table wines, they've got what you need. Meet your friends at the largest tap wall in Alabama with 105 rotating selections. Then take home a growler full of your favorite or choose from our 1,000 canned or bottled beers. Need help stocking your bar or planning your party? Liquor Express has a knowledgeable, professional, in-house staff that can assist you with anything from your bar to the planning of your special event. Visit liquorexpress.net for tasting specials, giveaways, and classes.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer again. Baumhauer's Victory Grill is extremely proud to have recently received numerous awards, including being voted Best Wings in the state of Alabama. Other awards received include Best All-Around Restaurant, Best American Restaurant, #1 Sports Bar, Best Chef, Best Wings, and Best Dining Experience. Thank you for 43 legendary years, and we look forward to providing you an award-winning dining experience at every visit. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at woodyandersonford.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
Back here at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. I don't know how to preview what to. We are walking you up to Braves baseball tonight. The Braves are winning too much. They're winning too much because it's now to the point where I'm rooting for them to lose because right now
See, that's messed up.
No, they own the tiebreaker with the Athletics. There's 3 really good shortstop prospects in next year's draft.
Who knows?
And I want one of those. I want one of those 3.
Oh,
I want one of those 3.
Well, you know, there's supposed to be a rapture today, so you still got an hour before that could be a problem. Maybe it'll go ahead. You'll have to think about it.
It's true. Talk Radio, WZCN, your
Sorry, I
home
need to
for
remind
all
you.
things political news. Our next guest, I kid you not, West neighbors, when I told him where we were here at the Furniture Factory, I got shut up. Are you for real? And I said, yes, sir. And he said, epic.
I thought you guys were messing with me. I'm not going to lie. I've been asking Wes for 2 years. Hey, when are we going to the factory?
Sam?
My wife is not happy if she's tuned in. I'm just going to let you know. Sorry, babe.
You want me to flip the camera around?
No.
Okay.
I got a face made for radio.
No, I've seen your face on television. Cleanly shaven.
Yeah, way too shaven. I wish I could take that one back.
So, man, I had hail damage at my mom's house. You guys came out. I haven't done anything. Y'all did everything. I mean, it's easy and I knew everybody around me had it checked and it was obvious. So
yeah, it was obvious, and we knew your agent. We've worked with your agent before, and I may have won a couple state titles with his son, but yeah, I'm just throwing that in there in case anybody forgot. I used to be an athlete, but yeah. I don't look like one anymore, but yeah, they trust us. You know, they knew we wouldn't, turn it in if it wasn't for real. And yeah, you got to prove because you should have. And yeah, we're ready to roll. So,
and that's a year. You got a year.
It used to be 2 years, but yeah, I think a year is a safe bet. And now's a great time to put on a roof. It's cooler temps. You know, when we're in Alabama in July and it's 100, 105, heat index is crazy. You can actually mash up the shingles a little bit with guys walking on it, especially as a steeper roof. The shingles get hot. They're real pliable. So you can leave some footprints and stuff in it like that. So right now it's a good time because it's not too cold, but it's cooler. So it's a great time, especially before we get into the rains in like November.
Can it be too cold to put a roof up?
Below 40, they say. I think it's safe. Just basically if it's below freezing, but if it gets above 40, you're okay. Yeah.
So we're fairly safe here in Alabama.
Yeah, you're not too many days you can't work in here. Maybe December and January. So
just because it rains so much.
Yeah. We'll get some cold. I mean, the last 2 years we've been in single digits for a couple of weeks. Yeah, it's terrible. So, as a duck hunter, I hate that. I just got to head to Arkansas and just, deal with that.
So, how do people get in touch with you?
Yeah, they can call us at the office, 256-651-9440, or they can get us on the website at FlemingHSV.com.
So, if you think you might have some hail damage, you need to call.
Yeah. I really think there's a lot of areas we really haven't seen a lot of work being done. We haven't done a lot of work in there. And, I think there's a lot of people that have damage that haven't reported it yet. And they could be holding on. I mean, hail won't cause a leak unless it's just real severe. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's not a rush sometimes. You can wait it out and just kind of wait till you're ready to do it. And then, report it and get your roof.
But if you look around and you see people getting the roof done, you need to check.
Yeah, I mean, Drake Avenue around Randolph School is pretty bad. Blossomwood, obviously, there's some parts in Blossomwood that aren't hail damage. It was kind of weird the way it was. It's kind of scattered around, some here, some there. But
Big Cove.
Yeah, 5 Points Medical. Around Huntsville High is pretty good. But yeah, there's some other areas that, had hail, and you just, just kind of depends on the way the rock fell.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Because around my neighborhood, I've seen you guys around my neighborhood as well. I know Brian mentioned it as well in his neighborhood of just it is. We've had some wacky weather.
Yeah, I've been doing this for 20 years, and a lot of my guys have been doing it for a while, but they've never had a hailstorm like this. And man, they just say they've learned so much from just the way you deal with insurance and whatever. But it's just one of those things. I've been through this a couple times. I used to work as a catastrophe adjuster. They'd send me out to tornadoes, hailstorms, hurricanes, whatever. So I've been kind of through this rodeo a little bit. Man, it's pretty intense, but yeah.
So when your wife says is a catastrophe follows you everywhere you go, she wasn't kidding, right?
Me and my wife have a different opinion. I say she is the catastrophe. Yeah. She's a beautiful catastrophe.
Yeah, she is.
So what do you think of this football season? How much of a catastrophe is this football season?
I like it, actually. I mean, I had a little hissy fit after the FSU game as a Bama fan, but it was more like the effort,
Yeah.
But they've looked great. I think this weekend is going to be a big test. I don't know if Kirby, being out of the Saban tree, can let somebody go with a record that Alabama has. I think he's going to know what to expect, and he's going to be prepared for it. But I think it's going to be a great game. I think Auburn looks a lot better than I thought they would.
They've gotten better. The defense has gotten better, which makes them, if you play defense, you're in every game.
Yeah.
I mean, and the offense, they got to block better up front.
Especially the SEC and spread offenses now. If you can hold people to 20 points, you got a chance to win the ball game.
100%.
Well, since 2020, Georgia is 1-4 against Alabama. They're 63-3 against every other school not named Alabama.
Yeah, and DeBoer, his record's like, 8-0 against Sark, Kirby, and all the big names.
Yep.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. I gave DeBoer a pass the first year. This year, I'm really skeptical. I mean, I don't know.
I think when I went down to practice and I said they'll lose 3 games, I'm staying with that, whether they beat Georgia or not. But the young talent that I told you, but they got some young talent.
He's 11-5 at Alabama right now.
Yeah, but the talent is the freshman. And you're watching those guys play, and they get better every week. And I think they're lifting the team up as well because of the way they play, the way they're playing.
Yeah.
And I think you had the seniors and a lot of the guys that we look to for leadership are hurt. Those guys are coming back. It's going to be an interesting match to me because it's going to take all hands on deck to beat Georgia.
He's a great recruiter, and I mean, I think it seemed like they didn't game plan for every game last year. Like they just went into Vandy thinking they were just going to walk out with a W because it was Vandy, and that quarterback Vandy has, man, he's a dog.
He's a dog.
And
that's next week. He's 3-0 against Alabama and Auburn.
Yep.
That's next week too.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt.
Yeah. We're not worried about next week. We're about this week.
I've been watching some Huntsville Panthers football. My daughter's a freshman cheerleader out there, so we're forcibly attending, but it's been fun, man.
Forcibly.
Yeah.
That's a great sentence right there.
hey, Malzahn's got the magic back in Auburn. Maybe he does. He didn't have it with officiating, though. I mean, I gotta say, the magic was missing that night.
Yeah.
Well, of course, Malzahn at Florida State, Hugh Freeze.
That hurt all the worse, just knowing it was Malzahn. Like, he's been running the same offense for 20 years, and we couldn't figure it out.
And then the initial statement of they ran some different stuff.
Well, I don't remember some of the stuff they ran in that game, and I've been watching forever. So
I've never seen Alabama.
The same stuff.
I've never seen Alabama players get knocked off the ball.
That was the deal.
I mean, they would fall forward for 5 yards.
I'm gonna tell you. So I watched the defensive line. I watched the tape. The people that played consistently horrible was the linebackers, and they've been so much better. And we had a guy from Colorado on talk about. Hill Green, number 41.
Yeah.
And watch him. He gets better every game. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
I think Alabama has better talent than Georgia. Well, can they win over there at night? That's a whole different ball.
That's why I asked that question.
I thought if Bama lost 2 games, we'd have a chance to get in the playoffs. So, I mean, I think if we had played a great game and still lost to Florida State, I think a lot of people would have been all right with
it. If Florida State keeps winning, like Florida State beats Miami.
It's a quality loss.
That's the most physical team I've seen all year on TV.
Now every Alabama fan should be rooting for Florida State.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll go there.
Well, as a whole, the Southeastern Conference is 41-5 in non-conference play. Winning percentage 81%.
I hope somebody beats the hell out of Indiana, though. I'm so tired of that guy's mouth. Oh my God.
Well, that's a Saban guy.
What he's like there for 6 months or something?
Oh, he was here 2 years.
Oh, well, who cares? Signity.
All right, Sam. Let's make sure people know where to find you.
Yeah, like I said, give us a
and
call.
where to show up.
Yeah, we show up. Yeah, give us a call, 256-651-9440 or online at FlemingHSV.com.
Appreciate it,
Hey,
Sam.
thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sam Fleming, of course, if you happen to be out and about, FlemingHSV.com is the website. It's FlemingHSV.com. A little bit more from Kalen DeBoer and previewing the road trip at Georgia. Here is Coach DeBoer.
Yeah, and that's it. And it's never over till it's over. And you can, I challenge the guys to watch some football this weekend. And, we pulled up a game or two and tried to learn from what other teams are doing and what happened to them, good and bad. And that, you fight till the very last play. And that's whether you're ahead or whether you're on the wrong end of it at that time. And that example last year was exactly, one that we lived out. And so it was great. And then it was hard. And then we found a way. And so, you play because crazy things happen, and you play because you love to compete. And that's what, our guys are going to do here this Saturday.
That is a little bit there from Kalen DeBoer yesterday. Also, that word that is pretty synonymous with Alabama football for nearly the last 2 decades, process.
Yeah, what I've asked them to do is just really look at their process, and this is the way it should always be. Just really kind of similar and adding to the question that was just asked about, even what we're doing on road trips and things like that, you're always trying to just make things better. And so I don't care if it's how they take notes. What's that system? Is it, color coded ink that you use, and how can you just make it better for you to be more successful? And so I see that with these guys. I see that with them trying to find just little ways they can make themselves better, maybe with treatments and their schedules. And, they pour so much into it, but you can always make things better and be smarter about it. And when it comes to practice on the field, I can just see, again, we've focused on moving with purpose. Everything we do, just move with an urgency level that just has great body language and becomes infectious or contagious, I should say, across the team. And so I see that, and the action supports the desires and goals that they have as a team. And really, it's again, goes back to everything I've ever asked them to do. They've always responded. And so that's really what I've asked them to focus on.
That is Kalen DeBoer. We are live here at the Furniture Factory.
You know what that sounds like? We need to change what we've been doing and think and be purposeful is the word he uses in everything we do, and they do. And it is a process to get your mind right when everybody is using the negativity when you go to travel somewhere to motivate yourself. It's what I used to do. I mean, I used to love when we played other places.
We're live here at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill, and if you'd like to earn $50 of Furniture Factory Bar and Grill food, just head over to our website. It's good for this location here on Meridian in downtown Huntsville. For this location, head over to our website, 977ESPN.com. Click on the Big Zone Deals, and right now you can get $50 of Furniture Factory Bar and Grill gift cards for just $25, and you can get multiple gift certificates on a variety of we've got quite the menu, to say the least, of our Big Zone Deals, so be sure and utilize that here this fall. Let's go ahead and take our final time out. Mike Griffith going to join us in hour number 2 as we're live indeed here from the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Just in time for early fall adventures, what could be better than zero down on a new Ford? That sounds good to me. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. It's football and camping season, and we've got a brand new Ford to take you there. Right now, Woody Anderson Ford has some strong $399 and $499 leases that come with zero down and 2 years of premium complimentary maintenance too. Choose a 2025 STX Crew Cab with a 2.7-liter EcoBoost for just $499 a month, or choose its electric brother, the F-150 Lightning, just $399 a month. Woody Anderson Ford also has 25 Broncos, Explorers for $499 a month, and Bronco Sport and Escape for only $399 a month. And remember, these leases are zero down, and they come with 2 years of complimentary maintenance. 36-month leases with zero down, first payment due at signing, zero security deposit, just tax, tag, and title fees, and your good credit. These offers end 9/30/25. Now's the time for a Woody Anderson Ford. I'm Bobby White, and we hope to see you soon.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games, and if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title. Because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
You've been paying on that life insurance policy for years, but maybe you don't really need it anymore, or it's gotten a bit too expensive. Well, before you just let it expire, let Neighbors Insurance Solutions share with you some alternatives that you haven't considered. Don't throw away something that still may have great value for you. If you want to learn more about what Neighbors Insurance Solutions can do for you, call 256-763-7693. A death benefit could be a life benefit. Learn more at 256-763-7693.
Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. We should be dry as we head into the overnight, early into your Wednesday morning. Temperatures dropping into the lower 70s. A mostly cloudy to overcast sky Wednesday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. And again, we're talking about the opportunity for some scattered showers and thunderstorms, some of which could be on the stronger end of the spectrum, bringing some heavy rain and some gusty winds. We drop into the upper 60s as we head into the overnight.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Want to save some money?
I can take money and I can make it into more money.
Just check out our zone deals online at 977ESPN.com. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Some of the stories of the day. Major League Baseball has approved robot umpires for challenges in 2026, in part probably because they witnessed the home plate umpire last night in the Braves-Nationals game. He was awful. I mean, not only were they balls that you were calling strikes, they were like a good foot beyond the box. So I'm really glad to see Major League Baseball implementing some technology to make the sport better.
So let me ask you this, though.
How about that?
So it's just on replay, right? Is that what it says?
It's part of a challenge system that's coming in 20. It's been in the minor league system now for a number of years, but it's. I'm glad it's here. What were you going to ask me?
Oh, I was just trying to figure out, what the deal was with it. As far as it's not calling balls and strikes.
No, not every pitch.
Yeah,
but I'm for
on challenge.
I'd be a little bit for that too. Oklahoma State has parted ways with Mike Gundy after
was this week 4 or week 5? This week 4, right?
This upcoming is week 5.
Okay.
Well, that is something else that I have heard. I've heard a couple of SEC coaches mention that they've severed ties with a few players because, as you mentioned, this is week 5, and that redshirt rule is a storyline this week.
Right.
And a few players have tapped out and said, okay, I'm done playing this year.
Yeah. I don't see. I would no more put any of those guys on my team than any man on the moon.
And then the news.
That's a deal killer.
The news out of Norman, Oklahoma, not good for John Mateer. I say not good. He's out a month with a broken bone in his right hand. That's his throwing hand. And reportedly will be out a month for Oklahoma. And that does include the Texas game here in the next couple of weeks. So that's real as well, as Oklahoma looking okay. Certainly looking better than they did last year. But some tough news. But now that they turn their attention to Michael Hawkins Jr., someone who had playing time last year off the bench in a relief role for Jackson Arnold, who's now at Auburn. But Auburn's got themselves a pretty difficult challenge themselves this week, taking on Texas A&M in College Station as the Aggies are coming off of a bye and coming off of a win at Notre Dame. It's these games this week. These games this week.
I know, it's all the games. It's been incredible so far. To be honest with you, it's been very interesting. Last week, not as much as the week before, but it's going to be, we're going to find out what Ole Miss has if they can get up to that level. I think they've gotten better from week to week, but they're still not where they were last year, no doubt.
Mike Elko claims that human psychology will make Auburn's offensive line the best unit on the field on Saturday, coming off of that performance.
Who said what now?
Mike Elko, that's the Texas A&M head coach, claims that human psychology will make Auburn's offensive line the best unit on the field on Saturday, coming off of a 10-sack performance against the Oklahoma defense.
Yeah, he's talking to his team. That was a bad take. Auburn's, because one play the offense would do well and the quarterback wouldn't do well. I mean, I just thought that the Auburn offense continually put the defense behind them and the special team.
Yeah.
Who Hugh Freeze says was horrid. I mean, the punt was that. Right there was the
shank.
Well, it wasn't a shank. It was the.
Oh, you're not talking about that one?
Well, I'm talking about the one where he
from the end
didn't punt it at all.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah,
I was talking about the one where he punted from his own end zone and got it out to
this one
the
he
25,
never punted it at all. He just ran up and fell down over somebody. Yeah, it was a bad play. And really, if it wasn't for those plays, I think Auburn does win the game. The special teams was horrible.
Well, Auburn's got a big challenge coming up this weekend, but as does Alabama, as they are on the road at Georgia, and we've heard from both head coaches in that regard. We just need to get an expert opinion here, and we will do so after the top of the hour Sports Center. Jen is here with us at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Looking forward to her expertise. Texas A&M is 6.5-point favorite. 6.5-point favorite over Auburn. Ole Miss is a 1.5-point favorite over LSU.
Ole Miss is a 1.5-point favorite?
That's right.
Yeah. Wow.
But
that tells me who you should bet on.
Lane says take the over.
Yeah.
But that was in regards to a question about the LSU defense when finding out that his daughter is dating Wilt Weeks, a linebacker for LSU.
Uh-oh.
Who, by the way, had a very controversial hit on Jackson Dart last year.
Well,
that was not called targeting.
Yeah, well, they did call targeting on the last game on him.
Just in time for early fall adventures, what could be better than zero down on a new Ford? That sounds good to me. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. It's football and camping season, and we've got a brand new Ford to take you there. Right now, Woody Anderson Ford has some strong $399 and $499 leases that come with zero down and 2 years of premium complimentary maintenance too. Choose a 2025 STX Crew Cab with a 2.7-liter EcoBoost for just $499 a month. Or choose its electric brother, the F-150 Lightning, just $399 a month. Woody Anderson Ford also has 25 Broncos, Explorers for $499 a month, and Bronco Sport and Escape for only $399 a month. And remember, these leases are zero down, and they come with 2 years of complimentary maintenance. 36-month leases with zero down, first payment due at signing, zero security deposit, just tax, tag, and title fees, and your good credit. These offers end 9/30/25. Now's the time for a Woody Anderson Ford. I'm Bobby White, and we hope to see you soon.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Sports Center.
I'm
Christine Lisi. The Tigers clinging to a one-game lead in the American League Central on the Guardians, starting one of the best pitchers in all of baseball in tonight's series opener in Cleveland, Tarek Skubal. Tigers and Guardians scoreless, top of the second. Kyle Schwarber's hit his 54th home run of the season. Phillies up 1-0 on the Marlins, bottom one. Philadelphia's 2.5 back with Milwaukee for the top spot in the National League. No score Pirates and Reds after one. Cincy tied with the Mets for the final NL wildcard spot. Giants fans chanting, "We want Dart," are getting their wish. Giants planning to bench veteran quarterback Russell Wilson and start rookie Jackson Dart Sunday versus the Chargers. There are a few ways Dart could revitalize New York's offense, says ESPN NFL analyst Dan Orlovsky.
Hopefully this injected athleticism allows them to get more creative with some more formation, some action, some motion, some run game things that aren't relatively mundane, allowing their pass game to be more diversified rather than just throwing the ball down the sideline on a go route, working the middle of the field, multiple level and layered throws.
Dan Orlovsky on Freddie and Harry. Massive blow for 7th-ranked Oklahoma. Quarterback John Mateer will have surgery tomorrow on a broken bone in his throwing hand. Timeline for recovery about a month. Oklahoma State fired longtime football coach Mike Gundy. Cowboys have lost 11 of 12. Gundy's buyout, $15 million. Offensive coordinator Doug Meacham named interim coach. Robot umpires approved for use in Major League Baseball in 2026. Human umps will still call balls and strikes, but teams can challenge 2 calls per game and get additional appeals in extra innings.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Wednesday. The 49ers and the Colts both sit at 3-0 to start the season. I'll tell you which team I have more faith in the rest of the way. It's Unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
97.7 ESPN The Zone. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Back here at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Before you know what? Something that we used to do, I think we need to do again.
A shot.
It was.
No, I don't think that
I was asked by Brandon if I'm going to do a keg stand. No, Brandon, I'm not doing a keg stand.
What's that?
It's when you take you throw your legs up in the air on a keg.
It's a yoga position, but it's all for.
Did she honestly ask what a keg stand was?
Yes, she did. She did. But we used to take phone calls with Jen.
Oh, don't do that. Because obviously I don't even know what a keg stand is.
LSU Lynch has been holding patiently. LSU Lynch, you're on with Wes and Jen.
Look here, I could drive up there quicker than I can get on the damn phone line. You hear me? I just wanted to tell you.
It's good to hear you too, LSU Lynch.
Huh?
Oh, you just jump out the truck last Thursday.
I would love to see you down here at the Furniture Factory.
So would I.
Yeah.
I make a hot date every now and then.
Oh, honey, look here. Look here. You know my in-laws, Patrick and Holly. You got to. They come in there all the time. Anyway, I was going to tell you this real quick. Moulton, did you see my son do good this past Friday night?
No, sir, I did not.
Well, he got the kick off, do the kickoff, do the 3-pointers, and they've got. I sent Wes, and I sent you a video too on the messenger. But he went 4 for 4. He went 4 for 4 to PATs, and in the video I sent you is when he's cooking the 3-pointer right there to go 24-0.
Made the scoreboard show on Channel 19 that night.
He did.
Yeah,
wow, that's cool.
Thank you, Brian. Yeah. Because, I'm on back. Look here. We got kickers in our family,
Athletes.
That's all
Athletes. Ian Vachon is an athlete.
Yeah. We can't be like Wes Neighbors, who is still built like Hulkamania right now. We can't do that.
Well, LSU Lynch, you can always show up wherever we're at, but especially here at the Furniture Factory. It's good to hear from you, sir.
He drove by when we were at the place last Thursday. It
just
didn't
be
get
sure
out.
to blow the horn.
He didn't even get out. Yeah, he blew. Yeah, he did blow the horn.
And he's right. You know, Wes does kind of look like the Hulkamanian. I'll give him that.
Yeah, I look
doing,
great.
I'm better now.
Good. It's always good to see you.
Happy Tuesday.
Yeah. I last time we were here, there was a bunch of Alabama folks.
That feels like a long time ago.
It does.
I know. I miss y'all.
It was a month.
It was. But it's good to have y'all back.
It is good to be back. And
How do you like our stage?
the stage,
It's incredible.
Isn't it cool?
And then the television on the back side of it as well.
I mean, right?
That makes quite the atmosphere, I would assume, when that sun goes down. Maybe presumably for a
Corey Smith coming up for
Okay.
Purple Rain.
There you go.
Don't you like that concert?
Yeah.
I like that concert. You know, he has a lot of changes of clothes.
Well, then,
I'm just saying.
But that's doing Prince justice,
Right?
Because I went to one of his concerts and he must have changed outfits
10 times.
at least.
Okay, so you know the guy that plays Prince? He was in his band, and he actually
wow.
has his clothes. How
Wow.
cool is that?
That's wild. That is
I
wild.
mean, right?
I went to one. I think it's been a little over a year. I went to the concert. It was a lot of fun.
It was my favorite concert we've
me
had.
and Dan and my brother went, and we had a.
It was one of those concerts, honestly, when I would get little sound bites of, hey, when I'm in Atlanta, I listen to blah, 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 blah. But it was one of those deals where I honestly forgot, oh, my gosh, he did that song. That song. It's like it was one hit after another, after another, after another.
Oh, it's my favorite concert. Just think Purple.
Yeah. Yeah.
So good. My
Yeah.
favorite concert. Yes. Lots of good things coming up.
Such
Okay,
as-
so how about Alabama and Georgia?
That
Did you
is-
already talk about that? That's old news.
No.
But
What do you got written down over there?
We need an expert's opinion.
Yes. Oh,
Yes.
since I'm the expert, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
my goodness. This is where you humiliate me to no end.
No,
Okay, so the money line plus 130. Is that what you think is good?
Okay, so Alabama
Uh-huh.
and the money line.
Uh-huh.
So
Don't take the points.
yeah,
Just do the money line. You like that? 130.
3 points.
Yeah, but he said don't take the
Don't
points.
take the
Alabama's
points.
going
Just do the
to win
money line.
outright. I like that. I think
like
Alabama. I really do think Alabama has the best team, but whether they can win over there at night, it'll be something else.
I agree.
If they do.
She agrees.
What do you think about the Bulldogs in Tennessee? Because that's really what I care about. I'm going to have one hell of a tailgate.
That is Mississippi State's been
Right?
fun to watch this year.
I mean,
Yes, they are. What?
right?
It was due. They're due.
I
Right?
mean,
They're due.
I know. It's not all about the cowbell.
What do you have over there?
Yeah,
what do you-
as far as
Tennessee or-
Tennessee and Mississippi State?
I do have I got some sound bites from your coach.
Yeah?
But tell me what you think first.
More cowbell?
More cowbell.
I'm just saying. I'm
You
the
know-
one that makes everything taste good, look good, feel good. I'm that person. I really don't care what
Surely
happens
to
out
goodness
there.
you heard us last week when evidently his wife partnered with a bakery.
Oh,
and there
my.
is a cupcake called the Lebby.
Really?
Yeah.
Boy, I'm not with the times.
Mm.
I thought I had a good tailgate. I guess I don't.
You need to get some levies.
I guess I do. Note to
So,
self, huh?
so tell me what you think about Tennessee and Mississippi State.
Well, we're going to give it everything we got this week. I'm just telling you.
So, but it's not one of the picks. Georgia and Alabama was one of the picks.
I know.
We're trying to
Yeah,
get that out
content
of
here. Little content action.
I know. I'm not very good at content. I'm just good at making
Tennessee
it sound
is a
look good.
7.5 point road favorite
Ugh.
at Mississippi State.
I know. I do know that. But you can't beat our little record, right?
Undefeated.
I mean, right? That has to have a
4-0.
little bit of, weight.
You beat
Just a
you beat
touch.
Arizona State at home. That's
Just a touch.
something.
Right?
This is a better team than last year.
Yes, thank the Lord. Not all about the tailgate, even though I am about the tailgate. Just
Do you
saying.
go to the games, or do you go home after?
No.
after the
I'm the
tailgate?
one that makes the tailgate look good, feel good. I make
Yeah.
everybody feel good, from the drinks to the food to, the music. What they do inside the stadium is good, but, I'm the mama that takes care of everybody.
Okay.
The hostess with the mostest.
Always.
There you
that's-
go.
And I get that
that's
from
what
the
you
bar.
and that's what you do down here
Right?
too. No
Okay.
question.
That being said, if people need a holiday party, they need to book it at Haven, because Haven has just a beautiful place for holiday parties. Honky Tonk. Have you still not been there?
I've still not been there.
We got to go.
Was it like? When's it open? Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
Yes, and we make the best bologna sandwich in town. And don't
Bologna
say that's
sandwich.
bad on your arteries. Don't say that. I know.
Well, I'd be dead now if that was the case already.
Okay. Well, we make really good fried okra, and we have the best honky tonk country bands. It's fabulous. You just close your eyes and you pretend you're in Nashville. Fabulous. We've got you covered there.
It's cheaper than going to Nashville, too.
Oh, much. And the girls are cuter, too. I've already said that. They're boobalicious, and they're lovely, and they're just sweet. And wait on you, hand and foot. Done. So we've got you covered there. Then Furniture Factory. We've got lots of good events coming up in the fall. Plus the game here, we'll have it on.
Yep.
And we've got local bands this weekend. Groove and Jedi. Everybody loves local, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And they're not worn out. They're just fun and local. And everyone loves that. We like to support local.
And for those that need to plan parties, how do they get in touch with you?
Me. Let's see. We can do it by phone, 256-426-1989. They can get a hold of me at thehavenal.com. They can call the bar. They can come see me. They can have a drink with me. I'll buy them a shot. I think
And
y'all
she
we
will
need
buy you a shot. We know that
it's
for a
happy
fact.
hour. Oh, and we're known for our K-pop and tequila. Who doesn't love tequila? Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
What else? Have I missed anything?
I think you covered
I
it
feel
all.
like I'm on a roll. And since you only come once a month, I feel like I have to go blah, 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 blah. Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Mississippi State. Who else is playing?
Auburn, Texas A&M.
Yeah, Auburn.
Oh, who did you say? Auburn and Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Who did you say?
Oh, to win?
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
Texas A&M.
sure you're not saying neutral.
No. I think Texas A&M is going to win the game.
Yeah.
Jen, it's always a pleasure.
And always. Cheers.
Mike Griffith is getting to follow Jen right now. Mike, did you know what you're getting in for here tonight? How are you, sir?
Yeah, sounds like a lot of excitement, guys. I'm in the wrong spot.
Well, we'd love to have you here. It's always great to talk big games with you, but boy, this feels pretty darn big between Alabama and Georgia. How do you size this up from the Georgia perspective, Mike?
Oh boy, there's so many facets to this game. I guess you probably start with the venue. You're under the lights in Sanford Stadium, and I'm not a big believer necessarily that what happened last year or 10 years ago or 5 years ago really matters, but Georgia is 17-0 under the lights at Sanford under Kirby, and they do have a 33-game home win streak. Now that's not gonna amount to any points in this game, but I think it speaks to the crowd at Sanford Stadium, and I think about some other marquee matchups that I've seen. Notre Dame in 2019 comes to mind when the red LED lights made their debut. I think Notre Dame had 6 false starts and Georgia won by 6. I think there's a direct correlation. In 2022, you had a couple number one teams. The College Football Playoff Committee thought Tennessee was the number one team, which probably should have been our first clue that they didn't know what they were talking about. But Georgia dominated that game. They were number one in the AP and the coaches, and the crowd triggered 5 false starts in that game in the first half alone. I don't know how well Alabama will handle this crowd. I don't know that Florida State's crowd really impacted that game as much as, I think Alabama crossed midfield 7 times, only got 17 points out of it. So I think Ty Simpson strikes me as the kind of guy that can manage the crowd. Now, that said, and Wes knows this, when you go on the road, you typically, your package isn't as big. You're not going to call as many plays. You're not going to do as much at the line of scrimmage. You're not going to borrow trouble. You're going to try to keep it simple to avoid false starts, delays, miscommunications, things that can lead to catastrophic plays or falling behind the chains. So your offense is a bit more limited. And then you wonder about the emotional boost that Georgia gets. They played 2 home games, but not really. Marshall and Austin Peay were more like scrimmages. So this will be the first time they hear the crowd in full throat behind them. And after falling behind Tennessee 21-7 at Neyland Stadium, I think there'll probably be an emphasis on having those guys jacked up and trying to get off to a good start against the Crimson Tide.
Well, Gunnar Stockton, what is your opinion of Gunnar Stockton? Certainly did pass a couple of tests there at Tennessee, but what do you think of him even compared to, and listen, a healthy Carson Beck is what we're seeing this year. So it's, and boy, he's slinging it around pretty good. But what do you think of Gunner ultimately, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, he's a different kind of quarterback. Obviously, he's different than Stetson also. Not as dangerous in the open field running the ball as Stetson Bennett, but he's got enough mobility that he can escape pressure. He can make some yardage. I don't think he's a threat for, rip off a 35 or 40-yard gain, but sometimes all you need is 7 or 8 or 9. And if you can turn a negative play into a 4-yard gain, there's a value to that, staying on schedule. Brings the RPO into the equation. Georgia's got a short, pass-efficient game. I think about 2/3 of his passing yards come on yards after the catch. It's really important they run the ball well to set up play action and stay ahead on schedule, stay ahead of the sticks, stay out of those 3rd and long situations. Pretty good supporting cast this year, probably better than what you saw last year. I think Zachariah Branch probably belongs in the conversation with some of the better receivers in the nation. He's electric. He's really good in the open field. Running backs are good. Don't know if I'd say they're elite. It's been a minute, since we've really seen elite. I think I'd probably go back to, I think James Cook was elite. I think DeAndre Swift was elite. I think Kenny McIntosh was elite in 2022, but I like Nate Frazier. I think he's really good. They've got a couple of different guys that can do some different things, more of a platoon. Maybe more like the Alabama teams we used to see this year. Obviously, they were pretty thin when Jam Miller got injured in terms of experienced backs, but they've got a good complementary cast. The right side of their line is weak, and I think that means they're going to have to play Oscar Delp on that side and bring that tight end in and try to compensate a little bit. I think these guys will improve rapidly. They're good players. They're good recruits. But they don't have the game experience. And Ernest Green is a veteran they were counting on, and he's played limited snaps. He's been plagued with some injuries. I don't know his status in terms of how many snaps they plan on getting him in this game. But right guard and right tackle have been some areas that have shown up. And it's not like Tennessee's a steel curtain either. So you take a look at the success they had against Tennessee, and how good's Tennessee? I think UAB scored 24 on them, right? So
yeah.
I don't really know. So I think this game will tell us more about and a lot of people say the same thing about Alabama. I mean, Wisconsin losing to Maryland last week kind of makes you wonder. The Louisiana directional school, shrug. Florida State's really good. Yeah, Alabama probably could have been as good if they would have executed. The Seminoles kind of just had their number that day. That was an emotional program win for Florida State. I think you play that game 10 times, I think Alabama wins at least half of them, personally. But a lot of momentum up for grabs here, guys.
You mentioned Nate Frazier, and I honestly thought he'd carry the ball more than he's already carried this year. Even late in the Tennessee game, is that by design, or is Nate Frazier 100% healthy?
Yeah, no, he is. They platoon back there. They got different guys do different things. You saw Josh McCray, the 240-pound transfer from Illinois. They found their short yardage back. They got Dwight Phillips. He's a speedster. His dad was an Olympian. Got the quicks. He's taken some big hits. I think this is new to him. He's a little smaller. I think he's about 180, 185. They got a guy named Chauncey Bowens. It's pretty decent. He's a 225-pounder, and he's going to fall forward for you and get you what's there. Maybe break a tackle or two. But as I'm writing the stories this week about the historic games between Georgia and Alabama, there's no Derrick Henry out there. there's no guy you point to and go, oh my gosh, can they stop this guy? There just isn't. Ryan Williams sort of had that effect last year, I guess, and he's been dynamic at times. Certainly exciting player, and Ty Simpson. I mean, to me, Ty Simpson has the look of a guy who could be really special. The way he's been dialed in, and I know the competition hasn't been great, but this guy's got some mobility. This guy has some athleticism. This guy's been in the program. This guy has the markings of a potential great quarterback. I don't know how you feel. I guess I'd ask Wes this question. does he have a higher ceiling than Jake Coker, for example? I would think so.
Oh, I thought 100%. Yeah. So he set an all-time SEC record for completions. I don't care who it's against. I don't care if it's anybody not out there. He has been on target. He's had 6 drops. So that, to me, in the last 2 games, at times, his throws have looked like Tua when he was in college. They have. I mean, as stupid as that sounds, and then you go back and look at the first game, yeah, he made some errors. Like a couple of times he threw the ball and should have ran, and then he ran and should have thrown the ball. But other than those plays, he didn't play that bad. He was just – they didn't block for him. I mean, he was getting immediate pressure. So
let me stay on the interviewer end here with Wes, if you don't mind, Steve.
Go for it.
What would we say about Ryan Grubb now and what he's learned in 3 games? How much stock do we put in a new coordinator learning his team in game situations versus just practice?
Well, I think he had to relearn a lot of things because they were depending on the running back, and he was hurt. And, I wish they wouldn't even play him in this game because I'm scared he's going to get re-hurt. But the freshman running backs have stepped up. I mean, they've gotten better every game. And they got a couple of them that are catching the ball very, very well out of the backfield, making really good catches. Ryan Williams is the one that's either feast or famine. He of the drops, he has 4 of them. And when I went to practice, he dropped it. And by the way, I went to a Georgia practice too.
How in the world did you? Is that trust?
Yeah, well, my nephew's a coach over there right now.
Yeah.
So he's yeah. So I mean, they know I wouldn't do anything like that. Anyway,
that's got to be worth at least 3 points for Bama. That's got to be worth.
So truth be told, so when you put on the card Wesley Neighbors.
Oh, yeah.
There was quite a reaction as if some secondary coach from Oxford.
Yeah. So they called down on my nephew because Wesley's known as Wes because Coach Saban called him Wes, and he didn't have the intestinal fortitude to tell him his name was Wesley. So he's known as Wes. So I get on the board, and Kirby Reed's who's going to be there every day. And he called my nephew and says, tell me that Ole Miss's secondary coach is not going to be at our practice today.
I also wonder about this. So I think Alabama's paying Nick Saban $500,000 a year to be an advisor. Is this one of the weeks that he comes into the office, actually? I'm just wondering. I don't know what he's being nice to Alabama on game day. I don't know what else he's really doing there. You gotta help me out with that.
The thing about it is I think they pay him $500,000 a year, $600,000, but he gives $1 million a year to the city. So he's the best thing that ever happened in the last 50 years in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
That almost sounds like he's laundering money, Wes. He gives money to the city, the city gives money to the
That's
program.
not laundering. When you give it to charity, it's not laundering.
Well, I remember the stories, and you've probably heard them too. A lot of these kids this is an old story. This is, there's probably some sensationalism involved, but I remember when I covered Alabama, one of the coaches would tell me, you can always tell when a certain program's recruiting a kid because you'll go into this home and all the appliances will be new. And then the house may not be new, the car may not be new, but there'll be brand new appliances everywhere. So we know who's recruiting them. And then they told me another time, anytime a kid's dad's a preacher, you know what's going on there. That church is probably going to get a little more stained glass and some new pews by the end of that recruitment period, because who in the world is going to audit a church? But nowadays it's all above board, so I guess it's okay. I mean, Texas they drive those Lamborghinis right out on the field when the recruits come to visit. They give them placards. There's a picture of Arch Manning, and he's got a placard. He's got like a nameplate, and it's on the silhouette of a Lamborghini. Like, that is intertwined with the Texas brand. And
100%. Everybody has it.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's what the 22. That's what I mentioned. But they said that it's going to be limited to $20.5 million or $21.5, whatever it is.
If Ron Meyer were around today.
I said the only one hurting is the Texas Lamborghini dealership is the one that's hurting.
Well, we'll see. Sark, I like Steve Sarkisian. It's hard not to like that guy. It's hard not to appreciate his perseverance, his coaching, his presentation, his experience. The expectations are enormous there. I feel a little bit for Arch Manning. He strikes me as a very down-to-earth, nice kid who's, but look, he knows what he's stepping into. You don't go on Broadway if if the spotlight bothers you. I mean, he's been groomed for this, and I hope he does well. I think it's good for the SEC to have a legacy player like Arch Manning. I think it's exciting. I don't know where that ends up or how that finishes ultimately. But that's one of the neat things about the SEC. And I know, game days going to Penn State and Oregon, and I know the Big Ten's, the cats meow now and top two teams, and they seem like kind of pulled a little bit of a fast one, with that college football playoff committee, headed by that Michigan AD last year. You'll never convince me otherwise that didn't have something to do with those rankings and how things worked out. And the timing of it was pivotal because it was the first year of the playoff, and they were coming off a Michigan national title that, you can look sideways at it or not, but the bottom line is the Big Ten's won 2 in a row. And I look at the SEC guys, and I think it's as good as ever. I really do. Top to bottom, I've never seen it this good. And, it just kind of makes me a little – I mean, you got 10 teams in the top 25, and I think Mississippi State and Auburn are the next 2 teams getting votes. That's 12 of the top 27 teams in the nation. And we're going to pretend like the Big Ten's the premier conference. It's just where perception overtakes reality. I feel like maybe some of those big media markets now are influenced. It kind of reminds me of how it was in the 80s. Felt like the Big Ten kind of got, they were in some big markets, and it felt like the SEC had to fight and get their respect in the 90s, and really won it over with all the success they had. And it feels like we're in the middle of another battleground right now.
That's a very fair point. Mike Griffith, kind enough to join us. From a defensive perspective, the 21 and 22 teams, it felt like quality depth was there, and boy, did it play out. Especially in that title game against Alabama and Indianapolis. But this defense this year feels very young to me. What have you seen out of this Georgia defense?
Well, I mean, you had 3 first-round draft picks taken off last year's defense, which you might say is business as usual. But the difference is, who's next? And, the transfer portal, I don't need to tell Alabama fans, you got a pretty good running back up there at Michigan right now. You got a pretty good quarterback at Ohio State. Not that Ty Simpson isn't doing a pretty good job, but a pretty good defensive player there. Caleb Downs, it's taken a toll, and it really has. It's hit the SEC, and it's helped the Big Ten out. And Georgia, their premier edge rusher went to Missouri in the offseason, and, Carson Beck's playing down at Miami right now. It'd be nice to have a 6-year quarterback back there, but, Gunner did enough to win it at Tennessee. But to your question, and again, I'm gonna ask Wes this, and forgive me for turning this into the Wes Neighbors interview, but, you got a guy there with so much experience and knowledge. I can't help but want to tap into that when I talk with him. They made that new rule, Wes, about how the defensive line can't shift right before the snap. Now, Georgia's only really had one game where that would be relevant, but how much of a factor do you think that is in hurting defense's ability to get a pass rush and beat the offensive line when they can't do that pre-snap movement?
Well, I mean, I think it's ridiculous. I think a lot of these rules are ridiculous. Yeah. I didn't even know about the Auburn rule that Oklahoma used against Auburn. But I don't think that, I mean, you should be able, if a guy's on the field and never leaves the field, it's not like he left and came back, that shouldn't be a penalty. I mean, to me, obviously it wasn't. They should have called it, but I'm not.
But shifting,
that's silly too. It's silly. I think it's stupid. It gives an advantage for the offense, 100%, because you can if you shift from an odd front to even front, it changes everything for the scheme wise. Now, it used to not bother us because I made the calls, and when he shifted, I'd call. I knew what to call already, so it was no thinking to it, and we prepared for that. Or we adjusted on the sideline to it. Hey, we're going to do this when he shifts. But you still got to be all on the same page and all that stuff. But yeah, it's a What Kirby's so good at is he'll trick you into running your check. We've seen it. He did it at Alabama. He's done it at Georgia. And if he can steal 2 or 3 third downs by doing that, that wins football games.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he's so good at. He'll get you know your checks. He'll show you one defense and then shift to another right before the snap. He gets you to check, and then he knows exactly where the ball's going. And he's a master at it.
Steve, you're gonna have to give me the audio of this. I'm not joking here. I want to quote Wes. I think this is some real football knowledge that's going to have an effect on the game. And there's just not a lot of people out there that you can talk to that understand it like you, Wes. And I really do appreciate your insights. And I think a lot of people, obviously there's great value to you on this radio station, but I think a lot of people appreciate your analysis, because I think that's a big deal. I think for Alabama that the whole key is going to be protecting Ty Simpson. And I think for Georgia, the whole key is going to be able to run effectively on first and second down and stay at a down and distance. I mean, I really think that's what it boils down to.
Yeah, for Alabama to have a chance to win, they're going to have to pick up the Georgia blitzes.
What I really hope is not a factor is what we were talking yesterday about, and that is the officiating in the Auburn-Oklahoma game, where
Oklahoma has their own refs out there. I think that's very obvious at this point.
Well, guys, I got to tell you, and this is no offense to anybody, so please don't take offense. There's a lot of people around the SEC that don't like going to Jordan-Hare Stadium. I'm sorry, Jordan-Hare. I didn't mean to butcher that. Jordan, but there's a lot of people that don't like going to Jordan-Hare Stadium. Kirby Smart's one of them. And let's face it, traveling in the SEC, it's hard. It's not just the crowd. It's not just the juice. People are human. Referees are human. Subconsciously, at the very least, you can have the best referees out there. And why'd you make that call? Hell, I don't know. It's what I felt at the moment. I mean, a lot of this is gut calls. I think these guys work really hard to get it right. And I want to say this. The SEC issued a statement. And it used to be when there was a mistake made, everybody got real quiet and just waited till the next week. But I think Greg Sankey I think he's about as stand-up of a commissioner as I have ever been associated with in any sport. And I applaud him for making that public announcement. And, he is as transparent as they come in an era where there's all these backdoor deals and conferences pulling one over another one, and ADs, escape clausing out of their conference. And these are the same guys that were on selection committees everybody was jumping on me about when I questioned their integrity. And you find out 2 years later they're knifing their own conference in the back to make a deal. Oh, yeah, he's a real integrity guy there, yeah. Give me a break. Look, it's all about self-interest. I remember talking to Pat Dye, the summer before he passed, and I was talking to him about the college football playoff selection committee. He said, hell, if I was on it, I'd rank Alabama lower. I ain't going to lie to you. I mean, Coach Dye, you remember, he just spit truth, man, and I respected that man. He told me that on the record. And why in the world wouldn't we think that some of these ADs and administrators wouldn't have the same sort of influence, especially if television executives in major markets? I mean, you can't tell me that SMU being in Dallas didn't have something to do with them making the playoff, guys.
Well, it wasn't their schedule strength, that's for sure.
No, it was not their strength of schedule.
It was absolute joke.
It was their strength of record, Wes.
Yeah.
The strength of television market is what it was.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm with you, Mike. I really think I've been watching I really thought I was watching quality football last year, and it's even stepped up from last year.
It has.
And how this cannot be a 4-bid league minimum, I would just – and I know I'm talking to you in late September, and injuries – certainly Mateer's injury is going to change how Oklahoma looks over the next month. But still, I know what I've seen, and I've seen a lot of really good football in the SEC.
Yeah, and let's say this, because I lived in Alabama long enough to know there's really not much reason to talk about Mississippi State, but we will today. And that's kind of a left-handed compliment, because that's just what you do when you live in Alabama with Mississippi State. But Jeff Lebby has done one hell of a job, and the proof's in the pudding. And taking down that Arizona State team, that is a good football team. And that's a big win in Starkville. And what he has to work with, what they went through last year going 0-8, and I still watched them play Georgia between the hedges within 10 points and watched their quarterback put 300 yards up on the Georgia defense last year. That young coach is a rising star. I applaud the Maroon Bulldogs. Just like Vanderbilt. Hey, we're not. Vanderbilt's not a joke anymore, guys. They're not the nerdy guy standing in the corner afraid to ask a girl to dance. They're in the middle of the dance floor throwing down with Diego Pavia. And this dude's the real deal. And guess what? Texas and Alabama and in Tennessee, if these cats stay healthy, they're dangerous. As Shane Beamer and the game talks about that. They went under the lights in Columbia and put one on them. That's a team. Clark Lee is another. So, every time you turn around, you bump. Notre Dame's winning this. All-time coach Brian Kelly. I don't know why he doesn't get the respect. He's a little pompous, but I like the guy. I think he brings a little bit extra, and I like what he brings to the league. I think he's done a great job rebuilding that LSU defense, and he's got a good offense this year to work with, some talent down there. They're the real deal. Hugh Freeze was a guy that had to respond and did. Got a big road win at Baylor. Let's not discount that. That was a touchdown game at Oklahoma. They could have won that, even with their quarterback getting sacked 10 times. And, Billy Napier turned it around last year. We all thought he was dead, and he kind of rose from the grave there and finished out with some wins, pretty much knocked Ole Miss out. And Lane Kiffin's done more in Ole Miss to establish himself than I think anybody thought he could, and taking care of business on and off the field. I mean, Missouri and Eli Drinkwitz, they're getting the guys Oklahoma used to get, and they've turned into Missouri's no pushover. Arkansas and Sam Pittman, that's a hell of a coach, and Bobby Petrino's a great offensive mind, and they got Notre Dame this week. Don't be surprised if they find a way to win that game. I'm not predicting. I'm just saying that wouldn't surprise me because
it wouldn't mean either.
Point, Steve, I think everybody in the league is really good.
So back to Jeff Levy, I did not realize, and I had forgotten, and we're actually the situation that happened at Baylor with Art Briles, that's sneaking up on 10 years in this spring, and he was on that staff there at Baylor. And for him to go through what he has gone through, and he was even part of the staff with Josh Heupel down at Central Florida. So it's an interesting journey for Jeff Levy. I know a lot of people think about the Oklahoma stop, but it's really intriguing if you reel back the last decade of Jeff Levy and what he is building. And that defense is very young, but you can see some positive steps there defensively from Mississippi State.
Steve, I want to give you I want to get a sidebar in here. You said something that made me think about Bruce Pearl, and the announcement that Bruce is stepping down. And I don't know how many of your listeners know this, but I had the opportunity to cover Bruce as his daily beat writer for 6 years. And when I say daily, I mean every practice. When the team went to Europe, I was on the team bus. I mean, he gave me up close and personal, and I was at open gym, and I saw it all. I saw it all. And you want to talk about a guy that went through a lot. You want to talk about a guy, they got behind the 8 ball because he dared to follow the rule and report another school for a violation in an era when it was a good old boy network, and some of the television commentators were friends with that guy, and they did everything they could to bury Bruce Pearl. And inappropriately, in my opinion, when I think back to what happened at Tennessee, and a lot of the things that happened in that investigation were not right. And I don't want to go into too many details, but let's just say that Bruce, I don't think, had the support that he should have had. I know he made a mistake. I also know he tried to atone for that mistake immediately and was not allowed to. Yeah. I know that it involved compromised testimony. Bruce Pearl is one heck of a coach. He's a legend, and what he did for Tennessee basketball, and what he's done for Auburn basketball. I'll be honest. I was covering football, and they came to me and they said, "Hey, we still want you to go to these games, but we want you to be the primary basketball guy because we think this Bruce Pearl guy is really going to light this town up." I said, "Man, I didn't leave the Alabama beat to come up here and cover Tennessee basketball, guys. I mean, come on, Tennessee football is the deal." And like, no, you're still doing it. We just need you to go all in on Bruce. And I really didn't want to do it. And boy, he recruited. Oh, what an honor to have a football guy. I'm just, give me a break. I don't want to cover it. And then they go down and they beat Rick Barnes, a top 10 Rick Barnes Texas team in Austin. Everybody's kind of looking around the room like, did we just see what we thought we saw? And then you got this guy Chris Lofton that's hitting all these 3-pointers, and he doesn't have the look you'd think of this sharpshooter, quiet, nice kid, school teacher's kid, and they're finding ways to win. 6'3" Dane Bradshaw covering some 7'1" Noah kid. They're beating the back-to-back Florida national champions 3 out of 4 times at Tennessee. They beat that team. Billy can't outcoach him. He's outcoaching Billy. Florida writers, Bruce goes in there and tells Florida how great their coach is after he beats their ass, because that's just the kind of guy Bruce was. He has 3 starters suspended 1 year before they play number 1 Kansas that has a 48-game winning streak. And Tennessee, with 3 starters out, beats the number 1 team in the country. The guy is unbelievable. And when he went to Auburn, I said, man, it's going to kill him. I know how hard he coaches. There's no way he can lift that program up. That basketball building, they've got the suites, but they face outward and they're used for football tailgating. They don't care. They don't care. And he made Auburn care. And he made Auburn a powerhouse. And unbelievable. I think this is one of the most unbelievable coaching jobs I have ever seen in my life. I don't know what's next for Bruce, but I can tell you this. He's a good guy. He's exactly what you see. That's who he is. He lives out loud. He's proud of who he is. He's not disingenuous. He doesn't try to win people over, play politics. It's just not his style. And I respect the heck out. I learned as much from Bruce Pearl covering him as I did covering Gene Stallings, which I was incredibly fortunate early in my career to cover Coach Stallings and that staff, and all the time that guys like him and Woody McCorvey spent with me, and Dabo Sweeney early on in my career, and taking the time to explain why things were the way that Coach Philip Fulmer, the program that he built at Tennessee, the way they recruited, the way David Cutcliffe developed talent, John Chavis, legendary. I have been really fortunate to be around now Kirby Smart, to be around some great coaches, and Bruce Pearl is in that conversation, guys. And I'm happy for Bruce if he's ready for this. But I'm really sad. I'm really sad for college basketball because I'm going to miss what he brought to the game.
Yeah, it's very well put. Very well put.
So, Mike, were you surprised today? Yesterday when he resigned and at Auburn.
A little bit yes and no. Surprised by the timing. I had the opportunity to cover Auburn at the regional at State Farm Arena in Atlanta. I called it the Bruce Pearl Revenge Tour. He didn't want anything to do with that storyline, but I reminded him, this is the Michigan team that knocked your last Tennessee team out. This is the Michigan State team that beat you by 1 and stopped you from going to the Final Four. I said, this is the Bruce Pearl Revenge Tour. He said, oh, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. I said, well, you're not doing it, but I'm doing it. I'm writing that stuff, Bruce. I'm just telling you. I'm letting you know. I'm going to remind everybody that you got even with these guys. He didn't want anything to do with that. But when we walked out, it just so happened that I found him walking out with Steven. And Bruce still had the net that he'd cut down around his neck. And, we're walking out talking a little bit about the game, talking about Izzo, another coach I covered that I've got all the respect in the world for. What a classy guy and what an iconic figure he is for his school globally. Just an amazing guy. I don't know what Michigan State would be without him. He's unbelievable. And I'm saying, to beat Tom Izzo, Bruce, and he puts his arm around. He said, Mike, you've been there for all the big ones, man. I'm glad you were here today. And I'm thinking to myself, well, you're not done. You're moving on, And now I reflect back and I wonder if he knew at that time that this could be his last run. And we had talked about when he came to Athens. I'd asked him how he was doing, and he loves Auburn basketball so much. I think that's probably that was probably the holdover, is that he just loves the way the Auburn community embraced him and believed in him and supported him. He's like that with his communities. He loves them. I think he still does, stuff at Tennessee to help them out with charities. Bruce is a guy that once you're in with Bruce, I can still dial that number. He's picking up on the second ring. That's the kind of guy he is. He's so authentic. And I just know he loved Auburn basketball so much. But the timing is but who knows what opportunity he has, guys. And Bruce is a man of opportunity. I learned that from him. be fearless, go for the things that you want in life, dream your dream, don't let anyone stop you, do it your way. And if he's got another opportunity, and I don't know that he does, I've seen the same speculation you all have, but if he has an opportunity that he has his heart in, and because let me tell you guys, if Bruce Pearl believes he can change the world for the better, he will, and without hesitation, because that's who he is. He doesn't stop, and he dreams big. He's got aspirations. He's authentic, and if his heart is there, and he believes that he can do good for people, he's going to do it. That's just who he is. And so, yes and no is the answer to your question. I hope for the best for Bruce. I haven't had a chance to talk to him. I know he's probably been busy. I haven't tried to call him. This isn't a time for that. Obviously, there's probably a lot going on. I did see Steven is going to have an opportunity, which I'm excited about. Steven's a guy that I watched grow up, and he's fierce. He's a warrior. He wasn't the highest scorer in the world, but you didn't want to be the guy who was guarding because you weren't going to be feeling too good by the end of the night. That boy played physical, and he left it on the floor. He had a lot of floor burns too, and it was hard being Bruce Pearl's son. It was hard. And being at Bruce's side, I've watched him grow. I like the fact that they're going to bring continuity there. They've got something going. They've got something special, and I think it was a good move for Auburn. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
So I have a lot of great Auburn friends. And
Jay Jacobs called it the easiest decision he's ever made.
Yeah.
He was the AD down there. And the other factor was the director of compliance happened to be the same director of compliance that came from Tennessee. Yeah. So it made it easier for Jay.
Yeah, what I was going to say, though, is that I talked to some guys at Auburn, and they weren't for sure, but they thought that the reason he did now is Stephen was been getting a lot of job offers, and he wanted him to have the Auburn job.
Yeah.
Because he thought that was the best for Auburn.
Well, again, that goes back to what I was saying about Bruce's love for Auburn. I mean, it's authentic. It sounds like Terry Boughton here using a word with AU, right? Authentic. Remember how Terry used to do that? All these words.
Yeah. That's a good pull right there.
Speaking of unbelievable coaches, let's look back at a coach that won their first 19 games at an SEC school, and tell me that never got enough attention. Unbelievable. Unbelievable era.
So I remember that, though. And I was with, I was with some Auburn alumni, and he won 19 games, and he said that if they had to raise the money to buy his contract out, they'd have to wonder what they'd do with the rest of the $15 million. Nobody really liked him down there much, Mike, did they?
Well, it's unfortunate, and it kind of magnifies a little bit, and I'll kind of steer this back my way a little bit. Listen, Coach Dye was a warrior and another man who loved Auburn and did incredible things for that university, and he didn't want to leave. In the way he left, there were some disappointing seasons. I believe before Terry took over, the Tigers were 5-6 and 5-1. And, there was, I believe it was the Eric Ramsey investigation that triggered that action.
That's right, yeah.
And they had a lot of other coaches that were interested in that job. They had interest in a lot of other coaches. And I'll never forget Terry telling me, I'm walking, here I am, just this guy on my first SEC beat. I can't believe how big and beautiful Jordan here is. I'd never been to the SEC, but I'd always watched it on TV. And I can't believe I'm covering the school. And I find myself walking side by side with this little guy. That's the Auburn head football coach, and he says, "Hey, I got to tell you now, you know they didn't really want to hire me. They didn't. They really didn't. I really wasn't. I wasn't the first choice. I wasn't the second. I wasn't the third choice. And if my last name wasn't Bowden, I wouldn't. I'm just telling you, I wouldn't be here. So just know, I don't know what's going to happen this year, but they really didn't want me. But I feel good about it, And I'm like, wow, like this guy's he's just a normal person. Like he's telling me straight up, like, hey, I get it. I'm not the first choice, and I don't know what's going to happen, and I get it. My name's Bob." And he was just so authentic. And his team believed him, and Stan White was a hell of a quarterback, and James Bostic was a hell of a running back, and they had the Dillard 5 and defense, and they weren't on TV, but wow, did we miss a lot. Let me tell you, I was at all those games. People really missed out. I'd love to see a 30 for 30 on the best team you never saw in 1993, 11-0 Auburn, the only undefeated team in the country. But that was on. So I think that Coach Dye still being in the community, that's hard, okay? Now, conversely, here at Georgia, yesterday, Mark Richt spoke at Kirby Smart's press conference. He has a foundation, Chick-fil-A, sponsors a bowling tournament that benefits Parkinson's and Crohn's. And Kirby lets the guys bowl during the bye week. And, the guys go out there and bowl, and owners pay money and buy lanes. And Mark raises, $700,000 for research. He has Parkinson's. His granddaughter has Crohn's. And Kirby's seeding the stage. This is Alabama week, man. So we're going to have Mark Richt talk to you about his charity. And Kirby stand there with a smile. And I don't know how many people know the story, but, Mark hired Kirby in 2005 to be the running backs coach.
That's
I
right.
said, what in the world? He said, I didn't have a defensive spot, but I wanted him. So Kirby coached running backs at Georgia in 2005, and they won the SEC. Now, Kirby will tell you the most significant thing that happened was that he met his wife. And
That's
that
right.
1 year back at Georgia. And so when Kirby replaced Mark, that was a hard day for a lot of Georgia. Mark Richt did a heck of a job. He didn't have the facilities improvement that Nick brought to put Alabama over. The facilities, I believe, that helped Kirby go over the top to get the sort of player. Mark Richt is a God-fearing champion of a man. And the way it works at Georgia, and I've never seen this anywhere else, the former coaches are all still around. Jim Donnan's here. Ray Goff is here. And there's the animosity's not here. I attribute that to Vince Dooley and the class that he operated with. So they got a little something special here that's unique. But to answer your question, at most places, sometimes the former administration, especially with Terry having to take on some of the Coach Dye's coaches that probably weren't excited. That and I think it's pretty well documented. Terry got a little sideways with some of Pat Dye's former coaches. Even while they were going undefeated, there was a little stress in the office. And guys, won't mention any names, but you know who they are. And I think that made it really complicated to have the sort of continuity that you need to sustain success in the SEC.
And one was a graduate from Huntsville High.
We'll have to put a pin in this right now, but I look forward to seeing you Saturday night. I'm contractually obligated by the guy to my right to.
Well, thanks for joining me on the Mike Griffith Show tonight, guys. I've enjoyed it.
I'll be sure and send you the link to the Mike Griffith Show. Thank you, sir.
I'm gonna get Wes quoted on this. We're gonna have big headlines. Wes Neighbors. We're gonna be like, Bama Edge. Wes Neighbors attends practice. DeBoer feels good with inside information. Subhead.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Mike.
I know somebody would pass out if that happened.
That's Mike Griffith.
My nephew.
Oh, goodness, yeah. I will no doubt hear him.
They had somebody with me the whole time. Don't worry.
So that'll do it for the Mike Griffith Hour. Braves, last I knew, I think they were trailing to the Nationals, but it's early. And they're out of it. So they're naturally going to come back and win.
Just listen to the velvet tones of Ben Ingram.
Yes.
No matter what happens.
Ben Ingram is fantastic. And hey, by the way, if you head over to our website, 977ESPN.com, click on the Big Zone Deals, and then you can get $50 of the Furniture Factory, where we are right now, for just $25. Or you could get $100 if you spend $50, and so on and so forth. I'm about to enjoy some Furniture Factory grub right now. So you can do it as well, but enjoy some Braves baseball, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
It's an amazing time in our industry. Things are changing so rapidly. With digital signatures and workflow software, we help our customers work from anywhere. This helps you save time and money and upgrade your technology. Like I said, it's an amazing time to watch our customers grow and succeed.
Just ask anyone.